Darrell Boffman will now lead us in the national anthem, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight over ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming in the rocket's red glare, the bomb bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Please be seated. Good morning, and thank you all for being here today. We'd like to thank the Montgomery County Firefighters Pipes and Drums Band and the combined honor guard from Frederick County Fire and Rescue Services, the Frederick City Police, and the Frederick County Sheriff's Office. At this time, I would like to introduce Maryland State Police Chaplain, Pastor Jonathan Perks, to give the invocation.
You notice they always put the preacher right before the food. That's to pressure us to keep it short and sweet. Let's pray. Father, as we come before you today, we are so grateful to be able to celebrate such a wondrous occasion, to recognize those that are involved in the public safety here in our wonderful county of Frederick. And Father, as we really take a moment to pause from our very busy schedules and reflect upon what these men and women have done, May we certainly be grateful in our hearts towards each and every aspect of the sacrifices that they make in order, Lord, to preserve the freedoms and the safeties of our wonderful community. And Lord, ultimately, we look to you to continue to provide protection for these individuals as well as the many ones that they represent. That, Father, you would oversee their daily exercises of their responsibilities by providing them, Father, with the wisdom, the direction, the understanding that they need, especially considering the times that we live in. And Lord, we're just thankful so much for them, and we pray that you'd bless them and their families in a very special way, as well as those that are in the point of leadership that govern the actions of these individuals, that, Lord, you'd work with their hearts as well. And Father, ultimately, we're so grateful for all the blessings that you provide us with. Also for this food, may you bless it to our bodies and bless the rest of this ceremony, we pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
Excellent. Thank you so much for all of you for being here this morning. My name is Elizabeth Cromwell, and I'm the President and CEO of the Frederick County Chamber of Commerce. We're here this morning in support of the brave men and women who keep Frederick County safe. We're in for another extraordinary experience today as we hear firsthand of the selfless and heroic acts of our honorees performed in the line of duty. Before we get started, I see we have some of our elected officials in the audience, and I would like to recognize them and thank them for being here today. First of all, representing Congressman John Delaney is Kevin Mack. Also at the same table, we have County Executive Jan Gardner. In the audience today, we have Brunswick Mayor Karen Tome. Here she is. I'd also like to recognize the members of the Brunswick Town Council, Walt Stull, Angel White, Carol Jones, Ellis Burris, and Harry Lashley. And from the city of Frederick, we have two of our aldermen, Kelly Russell and Michael O'Connor. I'd also like to recognize the board of the Frederick County Chamber of Commerce, who work so tirelessly to promote Frederick County business. I hope I have seen all the ones who are here. I want to recognize everyone who's here. We have Linda Morgan, who is our board chair, right over here. In addition, some of the other board members who are here include Brian Godet, Matt Holbrook, Michael Plants, Daryl Boffman, who sang so beautifully this morning, John Michael Bailey, Don Schilling, and Jason Lee. We also have a number of chamber ambassadors here, and I would like to thank them for all their hard work in helping make these events so successful. From the Frederick County department heads we have represented here today, we have the Department of Fire and Rescue Chief Tom Owens. Sheriff Chuck Jenkins. Frederick Chief of Police Ed Hargis. And Brunswick Chief of Police Milton Fresh. Thank you all for leading these exceptional men and women in Frederick County. We also want to thank today's sponsors, whose generous support made today's event possible. Thank you to our gold sponsors, Davis Restoration, Complete Document Solutions, Corp OHS, and Hankey's Radio. We'd also like to thank our silver sponsors, the Audiovisual Group, Frederick County Bank, and Grafcom. Thank you to our bronze sponsors, Berman, Sobin, Gross, Feldman, and Darby, Frederick County Brickworks, FCC Mid-Atlantic Center for Emergency Management, Frederick Mutual Insurance Company, Leidos, Plamondon Companies, and Rogers Consulting. Thank you also to the table sponsors, program advertisers, and to those individuals and organizations who helped sponsor the award recipients' families and other men and women of the public service divisions. We could truly not do this event without your support. Thank you. I'd also like to thank the planning committee for this event. This event would not have come together without Chief Milt Fresh, Lieutenant Kevin Grunwell, Corporal Simon Temple, Kelly Beach, Lisa Lesson, Tom Plant, and our own Rick Weldon. Thank you. The inspiring videos you will see today and the taping of today's event were all done by John Mongan and Chris Edkert and Charlie Kelly of Frederick County Video Service. They and their office deserve a huge round of applause. Thanks, guys. Audio Video Group provided the AV equipment for today, so we thank them. And last but not least, a big thank you to the hardworking chamber staff who worked together to bring this event to fruition. Before I introduce our MC for the morning, I'd like to invite County Executive Jan Gardner to say a few words. Jan?
Good morning, everyone. It's a wonderful day in Frederick County, and it's particularly wonderful today because we're here to recognize and thank our law enforcement officers, our firefighters, paramedics, and EMTs who work so hard to keep us all safe every day. I want to say a special thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for recognizing our emergency responders with this event for the 5th year in a row. This recognition is really well-deserved. These men and women are our everyday heroes. They exhibit dedication and duty above self all the time, each and every day. So while today you'll hear highlights about and recognition and awards to people who have exhibited acts of bravery and valor, I do want to remind everybody about what our first responders do every day. They walk into the unknown every day willingly, and they have to make a quick assessment of whatever situation they face. People who call for help are often having their worst day, and our first responders have to be brave and tough, but they also have to be compassionate and caring. And they have to try to turn that worst day into a better day or the best day they can make it. They have to take care of the victims, they have to calm the situation, and they have to make quick decisions knowing that there'll be people who will be looking and reviewing that after the fact. So while we acknowledge, recognize, and present awards for valor and heroic acts, I want to make sure we thank all of our first responders for being wherever they are needed and for being willing to walk into the unknown every day. We really appreciate their hard work to keep our community safe. They are where we need them the most. Frederick County is truly blessed. We're blessed to have so many wonderful public servants, both paid and volunteer, who willingly give their time and put their lives at risk to help others. I've had a little bit of a taste of what people in our Division of Fire and Rescue Services do, and I can tell you it's hard work, it's physically and mentally draining. So the next time you see a police officer, a sheriff's deputy, a firefighter, or an EMT, please let them know how much you appreciate what they do. And to all of our men and women in public safety, I say thank you very much and congratulations for a job well done.
Excellent. Now I would like to introduce our MC for today. Once again, for the 2nd year in a row, television journalist Andrea McCarran of WUSA Channel 9 in Washington, D.C. If any of you saw Andrea's coverage of this event just last week, she did a really great piece that went out all over the Washington area, so we're grateful for that. Andrea McCarran is an award-winning journalist with WUSA-TV, the CBS station in Washington, D.C., and is also a regular contributor to USA Today. Her reporting has earned 3 Edward R. Murrow Awards, 20 Emmy Awards, and national honors from both investigative reporters and editors and the Robert F. Kennedy Foundation. In 2014, the Associated Press named Andrea Best Reporter in the Chesapeake region and awarded her Best News Series. In 2006, Andrea was a Nieman Fellow at Harvard University. Andrea's career includes covering the Clinton White House for ABC News and serving as a DC-based correspondent for NBC News. She has been a local reporter and news anchor in Miami, Portland, Oregon, Wichita, and Savannah prior to beginning her 2-decade career in Washington. You may notice she is joined by a co-MC today, and I'm gonna let her tell you all about Bunce, who has joined us here today too. So without further ado, let's turn it over to Andrea.
It is such an honor to be here. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. If you were not here last year, you wouldn't know that Elizabeth and I went to elementary school together in Hartford, Connecticut, and until last year had not seen each other for over 40 years. It's such a thrill to be here, and what an incredible turnout. Last year when I was here, I told all of you about my dream of raising a service dog for a wounded warrior, and lo and behold, here's Bunce. He is 10 months old, he is all male, and he would love to cover your beautiful dark uniforms with yellow lab hair. Why this day is so exciting for me is he is joined, and I am joined here today, by his namesake, Marine Corporal Justin Bunce, a wounded warrior who was injured in Iraq in 2004. Please let's recognize Justin Bunce. Thank you, everyone. Justin is my hero. And you know, all of you serve the community and the country, and we are so grateful for that. But service to our communities comes in different forms, and I would be remiss if we didn't also honor the reason Justin is here today, and that is his life skills trainer, Katie Gorman, who got him up at 5:30 this morning and has made just, yeah, you love Katie too. So can we please recognize the incredible Katie Gorman. And now on with the show. And I have to tell you, if you have any questions about the incredible Warrior Canine Connection, there are 2 puppies, Jennifer and Smith, at that table, and they're puppy raisers. It's a wonderful way to get involved. And thank you, supporters, Tina, for being here today. This is not about you. This is about honoring these guys. I have to say, when I first saw all of these bushes up here, it made me a little nervous, but he's pretty good. Thank you, Elizabeth. Okay, now to business. All the honorees today have been carefully selected by an unbiased panel of judges made up of current chamber board members. We want to thank those that nominated the winners, but also thank all the men and women of all the public safety divisions for the selfless sacrifice they make every day to keep our businesses and our families safe. Let's give all of them a round of applause. Our order of the day will be announcement of the categories followed by a video clip. Then the winners or representatives of that category will make their way to the stage, entering from the right of the stage and exiting to the left. All winners, nominators, and supervisors, please remember to stay after the ceremony for your formal pictures. Now, the first award is the Frederick Police Department's Life Saving Award. This award is presented to the recipients who are directly responsible for saving a human life or lives and who have demonstrated strong action, skills, and knowledge in the application of emergency medical care above and beyond the normal scope of their duties. These awardees were nominated for their gallant efforts at the call of a stabbing that had just occurred. The nominated officers gave immediate medical aid while awaiting EMS arrival, exposing themselves to great health risks. They worked together in a very chaotic scene to keep the victim alive. Let's take a look.
The Criminal Investigation Division ultimately took over the investigation related to this case. The nominees for this award are members of the Patrol Division that responded initially to a significant violent assault. On August 28, 2015, Frederick police officers responded to the 1200 block of Albany Court for a reported assault. Officers arrived and located two victims inside an apartment, both suffering from significant wounds related to a machete attack. One victim, a male victim, was suffering from significant life-threatening injuries. Officers acted quickly in this case, using a tourniquet and occlusive bandage to provide necessary medical care to the male victim. This care was later deemed necessary to save the life of this male victim. Officers worked as a team to provide care to this victim. This victim was ultimately transported to a local trauma center where he recovered from his injuries. Again, without the life-saving efforts of these officers, it's likely the victim would not have survived this assault.
The winners of this award are Corporal Simon Temple, Officer First Class Andrew Alger, Officer First Class Tyler Dietrich, Officer First Class Randy Lawson, Officer Thomas Edwards, Officer Derek Inman. Would you please join us on stage? The Unit Achievement Award. Let's give them all a round of applause. And now on to the Unit Achievement Award. It goes to any bureau, division, section, unit, or squad who command extraordinary law enforcement performance, attention to duty, or contribution to the Frederick Police Department or to the welfare of Frederick. This year's winner was nominated for the Frederick High School shooting on February 4th, 2015, and received accolades such as, quote, "This was one of the best coordinated efforts I have seen by the division as a team, and a nomination well-deserved by the demonstrated hard work, attention to detail, and commitment displayed by all unit members."
On February 4th, 2015, Frederick police officers responded to the Frederick High School campus for a school shooting. Two victims were located on scene who were later transported to a trauma center for treatment of their injuries. The Criminal Investigation Division was called upon to investigate this incident. The scene itself was vast and included hundreds of potential witnesses. Detectives responded to the scene and immediately began an investigation. Investigations such as this require the entire division working together as a team to accomplish the mission. In this case, that included the investigation section, the crime scene unit, the victim services unit, and crime analysts. This was the first and hopefully the last school shooting incident to occur in Frederick. Team members knew immediately the solving of this case was paramount to restoring a sense of security in the community. Team members worked nonstop over the next several weeks on this case to identify two suspects. In March of 2015, the Frederick County Grand Jury indicted two suspects in this case on charges relating to this shooting. As a result of the ongoing investigation, these two defendants ultimately pled guilty to the crimes associated with this case. This investigation caused significant life changes to members of the Criminal Investigation Division. Personal sacrifices and family sacrifices made allowed members to work around the clock on this case to bring the case to resolution. This includes members conducting hundreds of interviews, reviewing hours of video footage, processing numerous crime scenes, authoring search and seizure warrants, executing search and seizure warrants, and ultimately apprehending the suspects. Detectives determined that the suspects and victims in this case were known to one another prior to the assault. Actually, both suspects and victims were members of rival groups in the city of Frederick. Cases involving these two groups historically are very difficult to investigate and very difficult to solve. Due to the hard work and dedication by the team on this case was able to be solved in a little less than 6 weeks. This is outstanding performance by all team members and a dedication to this job.
Please welcome the Frederick Police Department's Criminal Investigation Division. And next we have the Frederick Police Department's Distinguished Service Award, presented to an officer who performed above expectation and duty, demonstrating responsibility and a highly credible accomplishment. This particular officer is nominated for his outstanding work within the Police Activities League by distinguishing himself over other officers by the way he throws everything he has into each and every event responsibility he has with PAL. Accepting, but first, the video.
Officer Michael Figgins is an officer who works in my unit, and he is our PAL coordinator. PAL stands for Police Activities League, and it's just a program to get the kids involved, to get them interacting with kids their age. And it's not just sports related, it's not just fun and games, it's a chance for them to learn and just see the importance of being committed and being responsible. Mike's job is one that a lot of, especially newer officers, maybe wouldn't see as normal police work. And it's not lock them up and drive fast and that kind of thing. He's dealing with young kids that need more attention, and so when Mike gets involved with these camps, he's trying to help these kids, not just for now, but for in the future. This past summer in July, there was a camp that a 14-year-old in Lucas Village wanted to go to this camp. But his parents were going out of town for the week, and it looked like he wasn't going to be able to go. Mike talked to his parents. They didn't really want to leave the child in the apartment by himself for a week. So Mike had the idea that the kid could stay with him for the week. Most police officers, people think about, the effect that you have on the public or what you're dealing with is more immediate. You're dealing with incidents that are happening right now, and you deal with that incident and then you move on. Mike's impact is much more long-standing. He's dealing with kids when they're young. He gets them in the programs involved with the education, with high school. He sees these kids as they grow up and is hopefully building their confidence and their commitment to become, important parts of the citizens of Frederick. And as he sees them grow, he can see the improvements, he can see them develop, as opposed to a normal police officer who deals with an incident and may never see that person again.
Accepting on behalf of Officer First Class Michael Figgins is Sergeant Joseph Figgins. The next three awards are for Officer of the Year. This award is given to the officer from each agency who exemplifies outstanding service, initiative, leadership, and meritorious action, and each humble winner shows just that. Our first awardee from the Frederick City Police Department is a 12-year veteran, spending the past 9 years as a criminal investigator, becoming a leading team member on the Violent Crime Unit. He is also a past recipient of the Bronze Medal of Outstanding Performance Award. But first, let's go to the video.
Detective Garcia was nominated this year for the Officer of the Year award based on his performance in 2015. Detective Garcia is a 12-year veteran of the Frederick Police Department, and he's currently assigned to the Violent Crime Unit of the Criminal Investigation Division. In 2015, he had what I would call a breakout year in police work. Detective Garcia was one of the investigators assigned to the Frederick High School shooting. As a result of the work on this case, 2 suspects were later charged and both pled guilty to the crimes associated with this case. In addition to that case, Detective Garcia was also tasked with the homicide of Gloria Watson on Heather Ridge Drive. This was a violent homicide case that Detective Garcia worked with a tenacity that is admirable of detectives. Detective Garcia's tenacity in this case led to the identification of the suspect and ultimately the charging of the suspect in that case. Detective Garcia was also able to link that suspect to another previous assault that had previously gone unsolved. 2 investigations such as those can typically overwhelm a detective's caseload. Detective Garcia, in addition to those cases, also investigated several violent street assaults involving a violent street gang known as MS-13. Detective Garcia's work in these cases also led to charging of several suspects related to the MS-13 assaults. As a result of those investigations and the charging of those suspects, overall gang crime related to MS-13 has seen a significant decrease thanks to Detective Garcia. As one of the senior violent crime detectives in CID, George is often sought out to mentor young detectives. His insight and skills in interview, interrogation, polygraph, or crime scene investigation are paramount to developing young detectives.
Congratulations to Detective George Garcia. Our next award is for the Brunswick Police Department's Officer of the Year. This awardee has become a great example to his colleagues, his family, and the citizens he serves. He was nominated for his selfless and dedicated service.
The main thing that probably makes Tommy unique is his loyalty. He's a very down-to-earth person and does his job in that manner and treats his fellow workers and all people in that manner. The truly remarkable thing that Tommy has done that extends from that loyalty came as a result of a tragedy to our Brunswick Police Department family. We suffered the loss of Sergeant James Moxley last July 1. He was only 41 years old and passed with a heart attack. And Tommy was a very good friend, colleague, and officer for Sergeant Moxley on Patrol Team A. And Tommy was able to, even as a young man, put himself in a position to become more of a leader than just an officer at that time. Again, he and Sergeant Moxley were very close personally, but they had a lot of respect for one another professionally. And it was a huge loss to us, being only, at that time, a 12-man department. Tommy's impact on others in the department, particularly a younger officer that was with us at the time, was one of being virtually a big brother, uncle, whatever you want to refer to it as. But he, again, he really became something more than he was before to these other people. From my perspective as the Assistant Chief of Police, he certainly stepped up when we needed to have someone take on that role. And it's certainly appreciated by the Chief of Police, Milt Fretch, myself, and everyone at the department and the city.
Congratulations to Officer First Class W. Thomas Jesson. The next next Officer of the Year award is for the Frederick County Sheriff's Office. While there have been several incidents in 2015 that would make this deputy worthy of the award, he's nominated because of his outstanding performance on a continuous day-in, day-out basis and was promoted to corporal in September, effectively taking on the challenges of formal leadership and management.
Corporal Dave Ensor is one of the top deputies in the sheriff's office. Even as a DFC, he was an informal leader. He took it upon himself to help train everybody on the team, get people up to speed if he saw somebody who could improve in an area.
Dave has a positive attitude, comes to work with the plan to accomplish the goals of the agency every day, make sure the people go home safely.
It was August 1st, and this was kind of in the wake of the Freddie Gray violence in Baltimore, and we got a call for a gentleman in the middle of the street who was naked and shouting and beating on cars. Deputy Ensor was the first one on scene, and the first thought of everybody who got there is this guy's on something. Turns out he was on PCP. People on PCP, notoriously hard to get control of. They're impervious to pain. They sometimes have superhuman strength. I had noticed at least 2 people on each side of the street filming and thought this had the potential to be really bad, even if we didn't do anything wrong. If we had to use a lot of force to get control of this guy, as we mentioned, very large guy, and he's got a fighting stance and moves around, and Dave yells at him, "All right, soldier, give me some push-ups," and the guy immediately hops down on the ground, and he says, "Down on the ground, give me some," and the guy, as soon as he goes down, Dave and another deputy move in, grab his arms, put him behind. So what had the potential to be a real public relations nightmare, even if we did nothing wrong, turned out to be kind of a public relations coup, because we took this very large gentleman into custody without hurting him.
Specifically, I know there were 2 incidents when he worked under me where he responded to, I think they were both theft calls, but he responded to calls for service where kids were involved, young kids under the age of 5, and one time was just 1 child, the other time was 2. The parents actually were charged and taken to jail, and Dave took it upon himself to take those children to go get them something to eat and then take them back to the sheriff's office and sit with them and stay with them until somebody else could come pick them up. So it was important to him that the children had a good, positive interaction with the police and that they were safe. There were numerous people that recommended Dave for this award. Not only did Sergeant Grunwell and myself, but Sergeant Packard, who's in charge of him on the Special Services team, and then several other supervisors, corporals alone. And there were deputies that also agreed that he's definitely a candidate and he well deserved this award.
And congratulations, Corporal Dave Ensor. The Frederick County Sheriff's Office Civilian Employee of the Year Award is given to a non-sworn employee who promotes a positive image and distinguishes themselves by professionalism, self-initiative, and work and ethical standards beyond expectations. This awardee's supervisor stated, quote, "I can honestly say that I have never supervised or commanded anyone more irreplaceable and essential to the functionality of their unit. He does a great job in a unit where a good day is evaluated by no headlines and everyone going home safe and sound."
Dana Hubble is a courthouse deputy sergeant with the court security unit, which is under my command. He is a supervisor of that unit. Dana has 26 years of experience with the Sheriff's Office. He served as a constable, he served as a corrections officer, he served in the courthouse deputy capacity. He rose through the ranks to attain the rank of sergeant in that unit and supervise that unit. His years of experience, his wealth of knowledge, institutional knowledge, his ability to problem solve. He's unflappable when it comes to multiple high-stress incidents. At the same time, he can sort through them and find a positive outcome. It's just a very valuable asset. I've had this command for almost 3 years now, and every day he comes in as professional. He has the largest unit in the sheriff's office. There's 22 personnel in this unit. It's a mixture of sworn and civilian personnel, and he runs it all. He has the daily duties of every other supervisor, which includes scheduling, discipline, leave approval, timesheet approval, assignments for the day, making sure all the courts are covered, the doors are covered. But in addition to all that, he's also responsible for some of the most sensitive equipment we have there. The control access system he's responsible for, which controls all the doors. He's responsible for all the camera systems. We have over 100 cameras in the building and increasing, and they're on multiple platforms. He has to be adept at all those. He has very good IT skills. He can solve most of our computer problems, which are above and beyond his job description. And he's a problem solver. One of our old systems went down, and instead of waiting for a service call for 2 weeks, he took it upon himself to rewire over 100 inputs for cameras onto alternative sources so that we could still view our cameras. He's very creative. He saw that the control center, which is quite a task to handle, was not suited for one person to handle well, so he totally redesigned it. He conceptualized it in his brain. He got me to approve it. We got the funding for it. And he even came in with maintenance on his own time on the weekends to wire everything up, and it's a much more user-friendly space now that one person actually can't handle. So those are just examples of what he does on a daily basis. As I said, he's a non-sworn person in charge of some sworn personnel, and he gets adherence and deference due to his years of experience and the way he does conduct himself.
Congratulations, Sergeant Dana Hubble. And now to the Unit Achievement Award, which goes to any bureau, division, section, unit, or squad which commands extraordinary law enforcement performance, attention to duty, or contribution to the Frederick County Sheriff's Office and/or to the welfare of Frederick. The unit deserving of this award this year plays a critical role in ensuring the agency runs smoothly, and the personnel who work this tireless position leave a lasting impression on the public.
As a patrol supervisor, I have the honor of working with these ladies every day, day in and day out, in patrol functions and facets. They're our front desk, our front line to our citizens and our deputies. Our Police Information Specialist unit is unique in that they handle complaints, compliments from our citizens. They work with citizens that come into our office on a regular basis. They process all the warrants for the Sheriff's Office. They handle all of the questions and services that the deputies need on a routine basis. They answer the radio also when patrol deputies contact them, and all of our peace and protective orders, which we have a lot in the county. One of our police information specialists is responsible for that entire process. The police information specialists support more than 270 people that work for our agency. And in addition to that, the citizens that come into our office, they're the first line, the front line, and they're often overlooked because they're not in the public's eye. However, we appreciate everything that they do for us. On a personal level, I was honored to work with the police information specialist while I was a patrol supervisor and also in my patrol capacity for the last 13 years. And these ladies do an impeccable job in anything that we ask them to do. They're very supportive. Anything we need, we call them, and they have an answer for us within moments, and they do it with a smile. They're wonderful people, and we appreciate their support.
And I will second that. We greatly appreciate all the work you do. Let's bring to the stage and congratulate the following public information specialists for all the behind-the-scenes work you do. And I am a reporter. I'm going to give you a business card as you pass. Jerry Reynolds, Donna Schreiner, Susan Rice, Annette Reese, Catherine Hayter, Christy Michael, and Sarah Markwell. Thank you so much. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. The Sheriff's Office Life-Saving Award is next and is being given to the Emmitsburg resident deputy for not only saving the life of a disabled man from the second floor of a burning building, but for also going back into that building to get another man who was attempting to put out the fire on his own.
When you become a member of the resident deputy program, there's 3 towns, Middletown, Myersville, and Emmitsburg. And each of these deputies that are assigned to a contract out through the sheriff's office but work for the towns. The town pays for their salary, their equipment, their leave, everything that goes along associated with the program. However, with one sergeant overseeing 6 individuals, they have to be somewhat picked to do the job on their own. And by that I mean that with lack of little supervision, they have to understand that they have a job to do, and they go out and do that job. When I think about Ben, I think about, okay, who can I put up in Emmitsburg that's going to do the job and do it well with little or no supervision and can basically make decisions on his own and the right decisions, and is a true representative of not only the Frederick County Sheriff's Office but the deputies that are also assigned to the program. Ben goes above and beyond what I ask and task him to do on a normal basis. He is out there in the community, he is meeting the community members, he's meeting the town officials, and he's basically representing the agency well when he does that program. As far as the Life-Saving Award, December 2nd of last year, the Fire and Rescue Department put out a call for service for possible smoke investigation in the area of Paul's Pit Stop, which is in Emmitsburg, Maryland. DFC White House is assigned to Emmitsburg, Maryland as a resident deputy. He searched the area and located a female that was yelling and screaming that there was a man trapped in one of the apartment buildings that's attached to Paul's Pit Stop, which is a liquor store in Emmitsburg. DFC White House entered the building prior to the Fire and Rescue Department's arrival, was unable to locate anybody the first sweep he went through, went back outside to gain some fresh air due to the amount of smoke that was coming from the fire inside the building, went back and located a handicapped individual that was stuck in his apartment. He was able to pick up the handicapped gentleman and carry him outside of the burning building, which Fire and Rescue later said saved his life. At any given day as police officers, we never know what we're up against. One minute we can be doing a complete report on the computer, and the next minute you're running into a burning building. Albeit we're not firefighters, we're not trained to do that type of job. And as much as I was listening to the radio that day hoping that Ben didn't go in that building, I knew Ben was going to go in that building. That's what we do. This is a calling. We don't do this job for monetary funds, and some of you have a lifelong story of wanting to do it, but you do it because there's a calling. And the fact that Ben was there, he was at the right spot at the right time, he didn't hesitate, and because of his lack of hesitation, he saved a man's life.
Congratulations to Deputy First Class Louis Ben Whitehouse. And now to the award for distinguished service in the Sheriff's Office. It's being bestowed upon this awardee for the positive actions displayed during a CPS call. Most recently, events have taken place throughout the country that have divided police from the citizens they serve. Well, this corporal's actions helped to unite citizens and police.
On October 18th, I was called to a local hotel in reference to basically a welfare check of a juvenile. Turned out to be an 11-year-old male. And I quickly realized that the juvenile was not being cared for. His mother had a drug addiction problem, was suffering from some mental health issues. And there was a lot of pretty alarming circumstances that were going on in the room, and a lot of things that this 11-year-old was dealing with. I called Corporal Ensor there to help me because I needed her to assist in having the mother transported to the hospital while we tried to work with CPS to find somewhere for this child to go. You know, I briefed her and filled her in on what was going on, and she looked at the juvenile. He wasn't very well dressed. He wasn't dressed for the elements, and in particular, he had a pair of boots that were probably 2 sizes too big for him and full of holes and things of that nature. So we kind of went our separate ways, and Corporal Ensor went and made sure the lady was transported to the hospital, and I took the juvenile with me. We headed back to our headquarters where we were planning to meet Child Protective Services. And we stopped at Sheetz along the way after the juvenile said he was hungry and he wanted a hot dog. So we stopped at Sheetz to get a hot dog. It was kind of the best I could do at that time of night, I guess. And he asked me inside if he could have a Gatorade. And he asked me hesitantly. He didn't want to ask. And I said, yeah, you can have a Gatorade. And he kind of got a shocked look about his face and told me that he typically wasn't allowed to have Gatorade because it was too expensive. So shortly after getting back to our headquarters, Corporal Ensor came in and she had a bag, and I could tell that there was a shoebox in it. And she handed it to the little boy, and he opened it up, and Corporal Ensor, in her travels back to our headquarters, had stopped and bought him a brand new pair of tennis shoes, bright orange tennis shoes. You can't miss them. So the look on the child's face was priceless. I'm not sure I could put into words, you know, how much that meant to him. And me feeling good about myself for buying him a Gatorade was quickly overshadowed by Corporal Ensor's brand new pair of Nike sneakers. This is just an example of the impact that Corporal Ensor, Amanda, I call her Mandy, has had on others in the community in which we serve. I think it's important, you know, Mandy's not the type that wants recognition for things, and I'm sure she didn't do this for any kind of recognition, but she has a good heart, and this certainly showed it in this instance.
And a huge congratulations to Corporal Amanda Ensor, who was also recently named the spokesperson for the Frederick County Sheriff's Office. Accepting on her behalf, Corporal Dave Ensor. Our next awards are for the Frederick County Division of Fire and Rescue Services, starting with a Volunteer Firefighter of the Year. This award is given to a volunteer firefighter of any rank nominated by his or her volunteer or career coworkers as most deserving. This awardee's abilities as a paramedic and eagerness to learn more about fire suppression, along with his work ethic and teamwork mindset, is why he was nominated for this award.
Firefighter Phil Gamble is unique because of his overall commitment to the department, his community, his family, and his business. He's always outgoing, humble, understanding, and always willing to take the extra training, go the extra mile, and do the unthinkable. Phil recently was involved in a motorcycle accident with his wife, which resulted in much injury to his wife. During that time, Phil found it upon himself to not only raise his children, run his business, be active in his church, and also kept a very active commitment to the volunteer fire department. And he never took time during his own personal hardship to take time away from his commitment to his community and all the aforementioned items. Phil's had a great impact on our department. He serves as a mentor as he rises through the ranks and gets more time on the job in the department. He's always there for people in their times of personal hardship. Some examples will be he's went and sat with members that are sick or injured at the hospital, taking time away from his life and his job. Phil's also been there when people are having a bad day for a shoulder to lean on, and he just brings a constant positive presence to the station.
Congratulations, Firefighter 2, Philip Gamble. And at this time, we would like to invite County Executive Jan Gardner to join us on the stage again, please. Next is our Probationary Firefighter of the Year. This award is given to a probationary career or volunteer firefighter who best exemplifies the conduct that is required of a firefighter and who continually demonstrates readiness, performance, and excellence in the duties they perform during his or her probationary period. They display maturity, leadership potential, and skill, and also make significant contributions to advancing and enhancing the goals of the Division of Fire and Rescue Services.
Nathan was assigned to us out of recruit class number 17 to the Myersville Fire Station. He was assigned as the probationary firefighter medic, and I was assigned as his mentor to the shift. Nathan came to us with a work ethic that really surprised me. Came to work every day, did his job, did what he was told to do, didn't ask questions, just did his job, and I really thought that was unique for an individual new to a group of people that he'd never worked with before. Someone who had a little bit of background, but in one area, but not so much in another. He really showed that willingness to want to learn more, and that really impressed me. I would say Nathan's impact was really on our shift. He really made us all work well together, just filling in different jobs around the fire station, things that he would do. We would all pitch in to help, and just his work ethic was really impressive.
Congratulations, Fire Medic 1, Nathan Twigg. Our next winner received 5 nominations from their coworkers for Career Firefighter of the Year. Each submission was from a fellow career employee with a detailed description of why they felt this person was so deserving of this award. Some of the comments about this person included, quote, "His level of knowledge never ceases to amaze the people around him, yet he is always looking for ways to improve himself as a firefighter and employee of DFRS. He is patient, knowledgeable, willing to serve, and always willing to do the right thing." And finally, every day he is awarded with an achievement that cannot be recognized: the respect and gratitude of those whom he serves, his coworkers, supervisors, and the community.
I know Chris Dimopoulos. I had the pleasure of working with him for this past year on the shift together at Station 3 on A shift. I've known him for a handful of years prior to, just working overtime or working trades, taking classes together and stuff like that. Chris is a very unique firefighter, a very unique person, a unique employee for a lot of different reasons. Mainly, he is extremely helpful to anybody, no matter what their role is, from the supervisor level all the way down to a probationary firefighter level. He is accountable, he is reliable. From the lieutenant's aspect, they can count on him to lead a drill, they can count on him to be in charge of driver's training, they can count on him to lead a shift, and then all the way down to a rookie, they can count on Chris to teach them, to mentor them, to be patient while showing them new things, whether it's how to use a tool, how to stretch a cross lay. No matter what role he is acting in, he does it with professionalism. He does it, with a lot of passion, and always puts a lot of pride into his work. This past, just within the last 2 years, he's gone through 2 promotional processes, process for technician and a process for lieutenant, where he was successfully able to pass both of those processes. And he takes all of his knowledge and all of his skill, and he's extremely generous with that knowledge and those skills, and he is always willing to help anybody at any time. He'll drop what he's doing and look to assist somebody in any way, and it's all the time.
Congratulations, Firefighter 3, Christopher Dimopoulos. Supervisor of the Year award is given to a career fire, rescue, or EMS officer who best exemplifies the conduct that is required of a career supervisor and who has demonstrated that he or she was an inspiration to the subordinates, peers, and superiors, while demonstrating outstanding traits, knowledge, and performance that enhances the image of the Division of Fire and Rescue Services.
Of all the supervisors within the county, there's fire supervisors, there's EMS supervisors. The fire side, they're responsible for a single shift within a firehouse, so they might have 2 to 7 people. But the EMS supervisor position is responsible for the entire county, and it's just a huge responsibility for one person. Jesse, furthermore, goes above and beyond for the simple fact that he takes extra time to do training, send out emails, further educate. He just seems to do more than what the position requires. Just the way he talks to people, he really seems to calm situations down. He knows a vast amount of skill and knowledge when it comes to the EMS system, how to do things. And I mean, just a simple accomplishment is his ability to calm a situation. Yeah, a specific incident that I really realized that Jesse was a phenomenal supervisor was had a call. It was a high stress situation, whereas a premature birth occurred prior to EMS arrival. I was the medic on the call. And when I arrived, there was a blue, less than 2-pound baby, unresponsive. We did CPR for about 20 minutes. And while people say that I had the situation calm and, you know, under control, I was like that duck on the water with my feet paddling as fast as possible underneath. And when Jesse got there, it just seemed to relax the situation a lot. And the outcome of the call was we got the baby back, and healthy baby at this time. He not only wants to educate and wants his employees to be better, he makes the employees want themselves to be better. So just the simple way that he goes about doing things just kind of pushes to better ourselves.
Congratulations, Lieutenant Medic Jesse McKittrick. The Life-Saving Award within the DFRS is typically given to an individual directly responsible for the saving of a human life and whose actions, skills, and knowledge in the application of pre-hospital emergency medical care were vital to saving this life. However, for this particular incident, there are 8 people responsible for the life-saving efforts that included first-time usage of several new methodologies. Without these tools, the patient was at risk for bleeding out or suffering a life-altering stroke. But due to the calm, professional care, this patient has a chance to lead a productive life.
The incident that I would like to nominate for the Life Saving Award happened in December 2015. Company 1 units, along with Medic 1 and EMS duty officer, were dispatched to a possible stab patient in front of a business on Route 40. The first arriving units arrived on scene. They found 2 patients at that time that had been stabbed. One patient was less critical. The patient did have a stab wound to his left shoulder. Still slightly bleeding, but was controlled with 1 crew. The second patient, however, was severely critical. He had sustained a stab wound to the left side of his neck, just below his left ear. The patient was slightly unresponsive, not acting appropriately, and also being slightly combative towards the EMS crew upon arrival. The bad part about this patient was he was actively bleeding profusely from his neck and potentially bleeding out. It was very difficult initially for these guys because as they tried to initiate a procedure to stop the bleeding, the patient became more combative, which would either tear away the bandages or fight the team members, enabling them not to control the bleeding. The patient was eventually moved back into the ambulance where The patient's airway was controlled because he was not breathing appropriately at the time. He had lost enough blood that it was affecting his airway. They intubated the patient. That's where they put a tube in his lungs and were breathing for him. They were able to control the bleeding with some of the new materials we carry in Frederick County with bandages that include clotting material. And also, we actually had one of the providers go above and beyond where he actually had to stick his fingers into the wound to put pressure on the artery that was bleeding to stop it and control the bleeding. They did transport the patient all the way to the hospital successfully. The patient was expedited into the operating room at Frederick Memorial where the arterial vessel was fixed in his neck. Later, we found out that the surgeon from the OR did come back with a note to the EMS crew stating how well of a job they had done, and if it really was not for them going above and beyond to work as well as they did together and think outside of the box, that this patient probably would not have survived his injuries. You know, I wanted to nominate this crew because initially they thought they were going to a single patient. They arrived to have 2 patients, one critical, one serious. They worked with great cohesion as a group. They handled the situation immediately and without flaws. They stepped outside of their normal, everyday procedures and did what had to be done for this patient.
Congratulations, Lieutenant Jason Barrick, Lieutenant David Coe, Lieutenant Scott Gordon, Technician Brett Fryman, Fire Medic 3 Derek Hartman, Firefighter 3 Mitch Krzyziak, Firefighter 3 William Rosamundo, Fire Medic 2 Stephen Ward. This next award encompasses a roster of 51 men and women who were involved in an extremely perilous incident on June 27, 2015 at Lake Linganore. The Outstanding Performance Award is given to any individual who places themselves under unusual personal risk and/or goes above and beyond the call of duty during or after an emergency response. This may include personal risk or unusual duties not normally required. This particular award encompasses 51 courageous men and women across 5 departments who responded to this incident and which resulted in the saving of 8 lives after a boat went over a dam and the passengers found themselves fighting for their lives in raging waters.
I nominated the group for Outstanding Performance of the Year based on their actions and outstanding performance at a boat incident on Lake Linganore Dam. Units were dispatched for the report of a boat over the dam in Lake Linganore on a Saturday evening at around 6:30 p.m. Upon initial response of the fire and rescue units, reports were given by Frederick Emergency Communications that stated that they had a confirmed boat over the breast of the dam with up to 9 people in the water. First arriving sheriff's office confirmed the report and that they had the same amount of victims in the water. Immediately following them were the units from Newmarket Fire Company, arrived on the scene and did a quick scene size up and began to initiate a rescue plan. Immediately the team found that there was a victim clinging to a rocks, clinging for her life, and they had to act fastly or she was going to become a victim to the incident. Several members from Newmarket Fire Company and the Frederick County Sheriff's Office went above and beyond the call to rescue her from the rocks. Simultaneously, while that was happening, members from the Junior Fire Company boat team removed 4 victims from a shoreline and ferried them across to safety. MSP helicopter Trooper 3 was involved in removing, using their basket and hoist system, 3 victims that were stranded on logs in the middle of the spillway of the dam. The whole incident, I felt, deserved recognition because it appeared to me like something out of a movie, something the unthinkable, that you would, on a Saturday evening on the tail end of a storm, that you would be dispatched for a water rescue assignment and arrive to find 9 total victims in the water on a pontoon boat that had went over the breast of the dam, all having various multitudes of rescue resources and rescue performances that needed to be done to effectively save their lives from becoming victims of the water and its raging waters that evening. Unfortunately, most water rescue events result in body recovery and loss of life. Fortunately, based on the responders' knowledge, skills, abilities, and bravery shown the night of the incident at Lake Linganore Dam, we resulted in having 8 rescues made that evening.
Congratulations to all members who participated in the rescue efforts at Lake Linganore on June 27th. A representative from each of these 5 departments will accept the award. Newmarket District Volunteer Fire Company, Walkersville Volunteer Fire Company, Frederick County Sheriff's Office, Maryland State Police Aviation Command, and the Frederick County Division of Fire and Rescue Services. Careful. Oops. We're winding down to our final 2 awards. The Silver Medal of Bravery is given to an individual who worked under great hazardous conditions with disregard for his or her personal safety while working within standard operating procedures in an attempt to save another. This awardee was also involved in that Lake Linganore water rescue, helping to execute a live bait rescue by tending to the rope system at the raging water's edge while the live rescuers entered the water to save a woman clinging to a rock. Because of his courageous efforts and excellent display of his knowledge, skills, and abilities, they all significantly contributed to make the rescue that evening.
Bucky has over 40 years fire service experience. He has a long tenure with the nation's capital Rescue Squad 1. He's got several awards for life-saving rescues, both on fire grounds and technical rescues. He's also been involved in several events with us that's been honored with unit citations. His knowledge, skills, ability, and experience sets him above others. Bucky, the night of the water rescue event in Lake Linganore, was the rescue operations commander. He not only performed outstanding rescue traits and performed under pressure. However, he ran the rescue operation, developing rescue plans for crews to execute throughout the night. I think he set the mark for the event, and he also put himself in great danger by being right on the water's edge to command the operation that Sergeant Zach Klein, Assistant Chief Matt Taves, and Deputy Ensor performed, which ended up saving the most critical patient from the incident. Bucky serves as a mentor in our department, being a chief level officer, both for junior officers and line officers, and for other members of the department. He's very compassionate and compelling to others' needs. He's always a shoulder for people to lean on and a mentor for them to look up to with his years of experience and knowledge.
Congratulations, Newmarket District Volunteer Fire Company Assistant Chief William Kennedy, Jr. Last award this morning is for the Gold Medal of Valor. All 3 recipients were also part of the Lake Linganore water rescue. Without their valiant efforts and courageously risking their own safety and lives under extremely hazardous conditions to save another, great loss of life could have resulted if action had not been taken immediately.
I nominated Deputy Ensor, Firefighter Taves, and Sergeant Klein for the Gold Medal of Valor based on their performance at the Lake Linganore Dam rescue. These individuals, starting with Deputy Ensor, went above and beyond the call and put themselves in great personal risk to save a life of a stranded young lady on the rocks in raging waters. Upon the first arriving Sheriff's Office unit's Deputy Ensor utilized his rope throw bag and his personal flotation device that he had in his car and placed himself in great risk and harm's way to establish contact with which seemed to be the most imminent rescue needing to be made. With limited training and outside of the Sheriff's Office scope of performance, Deputy Ensor used good common sense and good size-up skills and establish contact with the individual via the rope bag, which, based on his actions, probably resulted in one of the main reasons why we had a viable patient and were able to make a rescue for that young lady. Followed by that, Sergeant Zach Klein and Firefighter Matt Taves off of Newmarket Fire Company's boat team dressed out in their water rescue PPE, and then it was deemed that they needed to enter the raging waters after a day's storm over top the dam to make a live bait rescue of the victim. Between Taves, Klein, and Ensor, they worked together under the command of Assistant Chief Kennedy to execute a rescue with 2 rescuers in the water and Deputy Ensor controlling a rope system as a pendulum point to ferry the victim, who had a throw ring around her, down to the waiting rescuers. When most individuals would second guess or take a second look at the environment that Ensor, Klein, and Taves operated in that evening, those 3 individuals, without hesitation, placed themselves in harm's way to make the rescue of the citizen in need.
Congratulations, Sergeant Zachary Klein of the Newmarket District Volunteer Fire Company, Assistant Chief Matthew Taves of the Newmarket District Volunteer Fire Company, and then Deputy First Class, now Corporal Dave Ensor of the Frederick County Sheriff's Office. Congratulations.
Well, thank you all. What a moving event this is. I know everybody who comes to this program is always really amazed by the remarkable service that all of you participate in. And I'd like to spend just a small moment also recognizing the husbands and the wives and the parents and the children that are related to those in public service who go out and risk your lives every day. And I can only imagine how difficult that must be. And I know a lot of you have traveled a great distance to be here today. So I'd like to thank all the families of all of the folks in public service here today. I also, earlier, I should have learned a lesson when I opened up the can of worms about naming board members, because I see Eric Soder, and I see Michelle Michael, and I see Courtney Stauffer, and there are lots of, I've probably done it again now, but there are probably lots of other members of the board here, and without the board of the chamber, we would not be able to do this event. So I hope we can continue carrying this on again year after year after year. Today we witness some powerful acts of courage, and I hope that you all have gained a renewed sense of gratitude for the law enforcement, fire and rescue, and emergency medical professionals of Frederick County. You're all truly inspiring men and women. I also want to thank Andrea McCarran, here behind me, for doing such an amazing job. And also for Bunce and all of Bunce's special guests. We were delighted to have this part of the program today. I wanted to mention that Bunce and Andrea do a weekly salute to service report on her weekly newscast. It's also on your website too, I think, right? Andrea wants me to let you all know that she would love to hear from you about any police, firefighter, or military personnel who do something special in the community. She does an amazing job of reporting on that, and I think you'd like to hear as much as you can from the amazing folks in Frederick County. So, any story idea. Or any story. So thank you so much for your service, Andrea. Thank you again for coming this morning and for supporting our Frederick community. We look forward to seeing you again here next year. And I believe we're going to be taking some photos up here in the front. So our honorees, if you could gather up here in the front, that would be terrific. And thank you again so much for your support and for coming out today. Have a great day.